If you're looking to create the perfect full circle skirt pattern, then make sure to keep on watching, because in today's tutorial, I'll show you how you can easily create your own pattern following a simple formula. For the best tips and advice on creating your own patterns, as well as becoming a fashion designer, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post new videos every week. Hey designers, my name is Kim Dubois. I'm a fashion designer by trade, and I was trained in Italy, where I specialized in pattern making and garment construction. I started using the circle skirt pattern ever since I began creating my own dresses. And to this day, it is still one of my favorites. In the fashion industry, the circle skirt pattern is most popular with wedding dresses and red carpet gowns. It is an easy pattern to create and ideal for new designers to understand the basics. So without further talk, let's begin with the measurements you're going to need. The first one is the waist circumference, which is by definition the smallest area of your torso above your navel. If you're not familiar on how to take your waist measurement, I have created a full tutorial on how to take yours as well as someone else's. So be sure to watch it after this video. The second measurement is the skirt length, starting from the waist down. If you're taking it on your own, don't worry so much about being perfect, because we can always adjust the length afterwards. Personally, I love the skirt above the knee, so for the purpose of this tutorial, I'll go for 57 centimeters. All set, let's move on to the tools you will need. Let's start with the pencil case one. So you will need a simple pencil, as well as an eraser, Scotch tape, and paper scissors. Next, the essential tools needed for creating your pattern are a tailor's measuring tape, pattern paper with or without dots, a curved ruler, and a quilting ruler or a long ruler of at least 60 centimeters. The long ruler is not essential, but I highly recommend it. Before going ahead with drafting, for those interested in learning pattern making and creating your own garments, I strongly suggest that you get my 9-step pattern making framework that will help you understand exactly how every step of the process work. You can find the link in the description box below this video. Moving on, let's continue with pattern drafting. The first thing we need to do is to choose a point. Let's call him X. And from there, we are going to create a line down and across, creating a perpendicular angle. When you're done, it's time to begin calculating. You will need 1/6 of the waist circumference. My waist is 68 divided by 6, which equals to 11.33 centimeters. When you have your number, simply mark dots on the line we just drafted, across and down from X. Using either your ruler or your tailor's measuring tape, use X as an anchor and mark dots at the same length as the two other reference points. Let's grab your curved ruler and connect the dots between them. Ending each extremity of the line with a perpendicular angle that you can create with the help of your quilting ruler. The length of this line should be equal to 1/4 of your waist circumference, including 1/4 of the total seam allowance. By definition, a seam allowance is the area between the fabric edges and the line of stitches. With this particular pattern, we would add a zip to the back of the skirt. So we would need a seam of 1.5 centimeters on each side to sew, for a total of 3 centimeters. To verify if the length of the line is correct, simply add the total of your seam allowance to your waist circumference and divide the total by 4. So 68 plus 3 equals 71, divided by 4 is 17.75. Let's measure the line. So this is 18 centimeters against 17.75. When it comes down to 2 millimeter close, there are no need to adjust. More than that, I would say yes, because it quickly adds up. It's time to design the skirt length. Starting from the line we just created, add the skirt length measurement we chose previously to the two lines. And with your measuring tape or ruler, go ahead and create dots that will be connected afterwards. Don't forget your perpendicular angles and also to add seam allowance to the skirt length to create the finishing seam on the final garment, which varies between 1 and 1.5 centimeters, depending on your project. As a final step, we are going to copy the pattern. Some of you may be using smaller pieces of pattern paper, and in this scenario, we simply add another piece to any side with the help of your scotch. Take note that it is easier to design, leaving the space to copy the quarter of the circle skirt. To complete the pattern, before cutting, we are going to add 1 centimeter seam allowance to the waist and at the bottom. As a general rule, when we create the skirt length, we also include the seam allowance. Now that we have created half of the circle skirt pattern, including the seam allowance, it's time to label the pattern. Here, we are going to write full circle skirt pattern, who is it for, or part of which garment if needed, and the skirt length. Also, cut on fold, as we're going to fold the fabric in two to create the full circle skirt. If you have any further questions on this pattern or would love to learn another one, then make sure to leave it in the comment section below this video. Also, be sure to download my 9-step pattern making framework if you wish to master the different steps of the process when creating your own patterns. If this video was helpful, give it a big thumbs up, be sure to subscribe, and join me in my Facebook group community for weekly advice and tips on pattern making, as well as becoming a fashion designer. Keep on creating, and I will see you in the next video.